Bună dimineața! Bine ați venit în a doua zi a weekendului Niconiștilor. Vă mulțumim că sunteți prezenți, mulțumim celor care au venit și aseară, mulțumim celor care vin astăzi, poate vin și mâine, unii dintre dumneavoastră. Să vă spun ce se va întâmpla astăzi, sunt sigur că cu toții știți, dar vă voi repeta. Îl avem alături de noi pe Brett Florence, care vă va vorbi despre nuntă, despre fotografia de nuntă. Vom începe cu o parte de expunere care va dura aproape 2 ore, sau în jur de 2 ore, după care va exista o masă de prânz, o pauză pentru masă de prânz. După această pauză vom reveni cu o parte interactivă. Unii dintre dumneavoastră au înscris niște fotografii care vor fi discutate și de asemenea gândiți-vă la întrebări pe parcursul expunerii. În această a doua parte așteptăm întrebări din partea voastră. Brett vă va răspunde la întrebări. So, Brett, I was telling them the schedule for today. Now it's your part, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Salut. Good morning, everybody. Okay. Testing. Are we on? No? Yes? Hello? I think everybody can hear me here, but not online. How are we doing there? Hello. There we go. All right. Good morning, everybody. It's a great privilege to be here this morning. I met a few of you last night, and it's so amazing to see the incredible passion that everybody has for photography. And that is why we're here this morning, and that is why you have given up your Saturday morning. I understand that time is precious to you, and I understand that a lot of you have your own businesses, and this is family time. So thank you for giving up your Saturday morning to come and listen to me chat to you about my passion, which is wedding photography. I love what I do so much, and I'm incredibly privileged to be able to do what I love for a career. So many people go to work every day and hate what they do. 95% of the population hate what they do for a living, and they can't wait for the weekend. Well, I can't wait for the weekend anyway because of the weddings, but it's really amazing to be able to wake up and want to go to work. So welcome, and hopefully we'll be able to learn and share together this morning. So what I would like to chat to you about this morning is about creating your own unique brand and marketing your brand, because we all know that the wedding photography industry has become diluted. It's become diluted because digital SLRs have now become so widely available and so freely available that anybody can own a digital SLR and suddenly they're a wedding photographer. So we know that the industry has become diluted, so we need to differentiate ourselves from the rest of the market by making ourselves unique and growing our brand. So how do we do that in a very muddy industry where there's a lot going on, and we're dealing with a lot of creative people that are differentiating themselves in many different ways. Before we get going, welcome to all those people online as well. It's good to have you. Before we get going, I'd like everybody just to go to my Facebook page. It's Brett Florence Photography. If you're online, you have to like my page first. If you're online, just put there online. And if you're in the audience here with your mobile devices, just write a little message there, audience. I have some giveaways and some prizes that we're going to draw randomly. There's a collection of my DVDs. I've got my wedding book that I've written, and then I've got another book that I've had published called Perfect Weekend. So we're going to be doing some lucky draw prizes from the Facebook page. So if you go to my Facebook page, Brett Florence Photography, like it, and we'll do some draws after that. Before I get into my lecture, I'd just like to show you a quick video of me working, just for you to see how I work and the environment in which I work. Also to show you that it's not rocket science. If you are passionate about what you do and you have a clear vision about the images that you want to produce, then you can produce those images. You need to obviously have a system, but we'll talk about that when I talk about the lecture. So let's just have a quick look at the video of me working. Okay, so that's a video of me working, and you can see that the images that I produce are with real brides and grooms, and they're in situ, so it's really not a difficult process once you know how, and we all know that anything is easy once you know how. It's like driving a car. Just to give you a little bit of a background regarding me and where I came from in my photography, which I hope is inspirational to some of you, because my story is quite different. I was a policeman in the apartheid era in South Africa, and that was through conscription. All white males were forced to go to do national service, either in the army or the police force, and I ended up in the South African police force. And after working there for 2 years, there was an opportunity to start a photographic unit to document the riots and the political instability and the change from apartheid to democracy. And one day, the captain stood in front of us on the parade and said, "Who wants to be the next photographer? Who wants to join the photographic unit and become a photographer?" Now, prior to that, I had no photographic inclination whatsoever. Nothing creative. At school, I had a lot of potential, which I never fulfilled. But in terms of creativity, I mean, I could hardly draw a stick figure. So it was literally something that interested me because it was different to what I had been doing for the previous 2 years. We were patrolling the townships, watching riots, and doing crowd control. And when they said, "Who wants to join the photographic unit?" I thought, that's a good change, that's a nice change, I'll be the photographer. Now, as I was chatting to some people last night at the function that we had here, if they had said, "We need a mechanic," today I'd be a mechanic. It was literally destiny or fate that put me into the position that I'm in at the moment, which is absolute bliss. I love what I do so much, and I can't be happier with my career. So I ended up starting the video unit or the photographic unit in the riot unit, and from that it progressed to my love of photography, because I would shoot images and rush off to the paper and have my pictures published. And I was lucky enough, because there was a huge media contingent in South Africa documenting the change from apartheid to democracy. And I had work published through Associated Press, Newsweek, Reuters. So it was really rewarding for me to have my work published, and I thrived on that, and I wanted to continue learning. So I got books and magazines and watched films and looked for lighting and spoke to other photographers, just like many of you guys who started off as a hobby, I was just hungry for knowledge. And it progressed into my love and my passion for photography. So what happened was, policemen in South Africa are not particularly well paid, and my colleagues who were getting married, they knew me as the guy with the camera. So if I can shoot pictures of riots, then I can shoot weddings. And we all know that sometimes it's quite similar. So I ended up shooting weddings for colleagues. And I realized that I loved the fact that there was this amazing sense of new life together, where two people are starting their new life together, and it was the complete opposite of what I had been doing, which was taking pictures of death and destruction, and moving into more happy things was just so rewarding for me, and I really took to it and invested my whole soul into creating beautiful wedding images. So I have made many mistakes along the way in terms of my career, and I've made the same mistakes that you guys are making right now, where you try to imitate other photographers, try to copy other people's works, go for all the cliches, doing the expected images. And then I started to realize and started to think about the market more in depth, and started to think like a businessman rather than thinking like a creative person, and just feeling really blessed and happy to be doing what I love. You know, the money was something on the side, and it didn't really matter. But what I realized is that we have to make money out of this. Otherwise, what's the point? It has to be a business, because we are not going to be able to sustain shooting weddings on the weekends and working behind our computers night after night, disrupting our family life and just having burnout. So I realized that it needs to be run like a business. So I thought about my target market, and I thought about the market that I wanted to target. Now, obviously, I'm trying to strive to shoot higher-end weddings. And when I say higher-end weddings, I want to target people with more money than what I have. So I'm targeting the higher-end market, and I'm trying to get into this little piece of the pie that I can charge what I think I'm worth, and make a good career and a good living out of this. So I thought about that kind of market, and I thought, you know, what type of people are these that we're targeting? Now, obviously, higher-end people, more affluent people, they wear nice clothes, they go to nice restaurants, they go on great vacations, that they're interested in the finer things in life. So what I trained myself to do was to think like a rich guy, and think about what a rich person would want from their wedding photography. Now, the conclusion that I came to was that more affluent people don't want what everybody else has. If a pair of Jimmy Choos cost 50 euro, everybody would have them, and the rich people wouldn't wear them. So it's a status symbol. It's something that more affluent people aspire to have, something that somebody else can't afford. So first of all, I needed to increase my prices so that I wasn't targeting the middle market or targeting the lower end market. I also then thought about the imagery that my target market is interested in, and what type of magazines do they read. Now, they're going to read magazines like Vanity Fair, Harper's Bazaar, Vogue magazine. So I looked at the images in those magazines, and I started to gain an interest in fashion photography, because I really enjoy the fact that fashion, not necessarily fashion photography, but fashion is continually changing. And the cliches in fashion don't last that long. So the trends are moving forward all the time. And And people are latching onto those trends, and it becomes part of their lifestyle. So I started reading magazines like Harper's Bazaar and Vogue magazine, Vanity Fair. There are a lot of really nice fashion mags out there. And my advice to anybody who is interested in the fashion industry would be to find magazines that you like. Now, you'll realize that after this lecture that it's about what you like. And if you shoot images that you like, there will be a target market for you, and then you end up doing your thing. You end up shooting for yourself, which is so liberating, and it allows you to become creative. And your client is employing you because they trust you in your style. So you don't have an art director telling you what to do, and you don't have instructions from everybody telling you what to do. You're shooting for yourself. You are your own art director. And this doesn't necessarily pertain only to shooting in an editorial style for weddings. It also is for any other style. It's how you brand yourself. So if you shoot photojournalistic, brand yourself photojournalistic so that people book you because they like what you do. Okay, so we were very, very fortunate to have a royal wedding last year. In fact, we had two with the Princess and Prince of Monaco, as well as the royal wedding that we had in the UK. So it was wedding fever last year. And this shot here is a beautiful wedding shot by Mario Testino. And they had a whole spread about, Mario Testino's wedding bells. I mean, you also look, Kate Moss got married as well, and she had beautiful images shot by Mario Testino. Now, images like this are not necessarily what the general population would see as traditional wedding photography. But what I wanted to explore is how would a fashion photographer shoot a wedding? Now, the images that I'm going to show you today and the images that we're going to go through, it is obvious that we shoot the other things as well. I don't only shoot in an editorial style. I do shoot a few images that are photojournalistic, that are posed, that are traditional shots, because although you are managing your client's expectations, you also need to realize that you're shooting for other people in terms of the grandparents and the parents who are going to order reprints and canvases and gallery wraps and things like that from you. So when I saw that Vogue brought out a magazine that had images by Mario Testino, I was really, really excited because he is one of the greatest fashion photographers of our generation, and it was really inspirational for me to see how he would interpret weddings. Now you see here that from this image there's quite a lot of backlighting wrapping around the bride. So you see these highlights. Well, she's a model, but posing as a bride. We've got these really nice highlights coming around her onto her cheek. The image is slightly desaturated. It's not necessarily a great big beaming smile. It's a really nice, beautiful image with an editorial feel to it. Now we'll see that this backlighting technique or this backlighting phase runs through to other magazines as well. You can see really nice backlighting there. Obviously this is an image of Kate Moss, and shot in a similar style to that first image. So I looked to these magazines for inspiration, and I started shooting in a similar style. This is my image over here, and what I've done here, this is a normal, average girl, really nice girl. She's an attractive girl, but she's not a model. And I've made her look like she could belong in the pages of a fashion magazine from my lighting and from my posing. So I look to fashion magazines for posing inspiration and for lighting inspiration. That word inspiration is fantastic. It means you can steal other people's ideas and make them your own, and you haven't really stolen them. It's inspiration. Okay, more images from fashion magazines. I look at images. I'm constantly buying fashion magazines to look for those kind of images. This here is another shot of mine. Very backlit, very ethereal. Behind this bride were those veil curtains, those net curtains, and really all I did was overexpose so that I'm exposing for the skin. Here it was probably 3 stops overexposed. With these cameras that we have these days in the modern technology to shoot at lower ISOs in unfavorable conditions, you can produce amazing results. So this shot over here, very backlit, desaturated and added a little bit of magenta, and we have that beautiful image over there. Similar shots over here, a lot of backlighting, really nice, beautiful image that the bride is going to love. She's booking me because she likes my work. So when I give her an image like that, she's ecstatic and she really likes that type of shot because it is in keeping with images that she is used to seeing. She sees this type of image in fashion magazines every day. So I don't want to produce cliched wedding images that are expected. I want to shoot images for her that she is used to seeing from just because it's a more affluent bride. And the poses as well, very fashion-inspired poses. I don't want to go too avant-garde because then she's going to look ridiculous. So I'm just bringing in that hint and that element of fashion over there. I just had a thought. If I'm speaking too fast or if you don't understand me, please can you put up your hand and ask questions because it needs to be a little bit interactive as well. So please guys, if you don't understand what I'm saying because I'm speaking a little fast, then just let me know. Okay, so what I did over here, I had my flash, my portable flash, my Elinchrom Ranger, illuminating the bride from behind. She was sitting in a hotel bar with these beautiful beads hanging down behind her. I illuminated that from behind, and we've got this beautiful, ethereal, glamorous look to it. And all these images and these techniques are not only for brides. Obviously, we need grooms to look the part as well. So the backlighting there. This shot over here, you'll see in a lot of fashion images these days. And at the break, I really ask you to come forward and have a look at some images that are in these magazines. If you look at that image over there, you'll see that in fashion, a lot of people are shooting through glass items. I know there's an incredible fashion photographer in South Africa. His name is Jacques Veyers. He shoots through beads and through glass and through old Coke bottles and all sorts of things to get really nice detail and some interesting things happening on the side. So he'll hold up his camera and shoot through this here just to bring an element into the image. You'll notice as well in other types of advertising, you have areas that are blown out. Now, some people are so against highlights blowing out and so against flare coming into the shot. But if you look at fashion magazines, they're allowed to break the rules. So if you look at this image here, there's a flash coming right through the model's hairline there, through her neck, and it's nice and editorial. So we should, it's just using the similar technique, just letting the light wrap around the side of the bride's head, just to get that kind of effect that looks like it was shot for a fashion magazine. A while ago, Vera Wang, a very well-known, probably the best gown designer in the world, had this campaign where it was just the dresses hanging in her advertorials, in her adverts that she'd have in bridal magazines. So you've got this dress, beautiful dress, no model, no background, just the dress. So I incorporated that into my wedding photography, and I, for a while, have shot the dress just hanging there backlit. So I put it into the doorway, and I expose for the dress, and then the background has blown out, and if there are a few other things hanging around in the area, then we'll get rid of them in post-production. Posing in magazines, you get a lot of posing like this. Obviously, I never shot this. This is from a fashion magazine. But why can't we pose wedding pictures like this? I mean, it's gorgeous to pose wedding pictures like this. Obviously, we have bigger bridal parties where you've got more people involved, but that's the kind of image that I'm going to shoot, inspired by that image that I saw in a fashion magazine. The bride alone, shooting like that. This shot here, we went up onto a roof of the building, and shot on the roof of a building with the Elinchrom Ranger once again, and it looks like it belongs in a fashion magazine. Over here, posing the bridal party, like they belong in Vanity Fair. This shot as well, and then this shot over here, inspired by something like Sex and the City. Okay, so we're getting images that are not traditionally associated with wedding photography. But my point to all of this is that I'm targeting clients who like this. I have no issue whatsoever if you don't like my work. It just means that you're not my target market. And I'm cool with that. Because if you don't phone me, you're not wasting your time, and I'm not wasting your time, and everybody goes home happy. So I have a distinct brand that I have nurtured over the years, that I am looking for a very specific type of bride that wants to use me because they like my work. And by making myself unique, at the risk of sounding arrogant, all I've really done is eliminated the opposition. When people say to me, who's your competition? If you make yourself unique, you don't have competition. And that doesn't necessarily mean only with an editorial style. It means with any type of style. If you have something that makes you different. Wedding photography has been going on for generations. There's nothing brand new that you're going to come up with. It's the way you interpret images. It's images that you see every day. If you're in the metro, if you're in the subway, and you see an image advertising perfume or advertising luggage, and you like that image, accumulate mental images in your mind that you like. And if you see an image that you don't like, it just means that it won't become part of your image collection. And by taking little bits of imagery here and little bits of imagery there, you're creating your own unique combination of images that is different from images that you would create and the images that you like, which means that you're going to get a different bride to what I'm trying to attract. And that means everybody goes home happy. Yes. Why? Okay, I understand. Yeah. So the comment was, if you are going to project an editorial style, you have to have an editorial background. Okay. My answer to that, and I think that this is a worldwide type of answer to this, is that the bride that you're attracting, the bride that you're looking for, before she entered the market, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit later, before she entered the market, she didn't even know that the wedding industry was as big as it is. This industry is huge. It's almost like an underground industry that as soon as you get married, then you're exposed, as soon as you get engaged, then you're exposed to florists, to wedding coordinators, to venues. You're now coordinating a wedding that you never knew all these things existed, that you had to put together. So you're now looking for a wedding photographer. Does it matter what background you've had as long as you can produce the image? If you can produce a great image, does it matter that I was a policeman? No, you've not interrupted. It needs to be. Yes. Oh, they must have a background. Okay, the client must have. Yes. They need to be able to appreciate. They need to be able to appreciate good images. Okay. You're regretting asking the questions.
Yes. So they have a background. They have to understand the picture,
Yes.
your work. So if I make that picture here in Romania, doesn't matter who is the bride. They, how can I explain you?
You're saying that the market is limited.
The market is limited. If
Yeah.
I make that picture you made in the past, with
Okay.
flames, with
Yes.
everything
Yes.
blurred, I don't know, only the eyes was clear.
Yes.
The groom is going to
Okay,
make
I understand
me,
the question.
You understand, you're
Yeah.
going to make me throw me out, you know.
All right,
Because
I understand the question.
It's
And
blurred. It's blurred. The picture is not good, so bye-bye. You understand
Okay.
what I'm saying?
Are there people that buy Vogue magazine? Are there people that buy Harper's Bazaar and fashion magazines? If you go into a news agency, do you not find these magazines there?
Of course.
You do find them.
Yeah.
So people are buying those magazines. So they look to those magazines for an aspirational lifestyle. They aspire to that kind of lifestyle. And they are seeing those kind of images all the time. Now, if they can have those images, they look at those images in fashion magazines and go, wow, those are beautiful. Now, if you can give them those images in their wedding photography, then you're fulfilling that market. My other comment to that would also be, what I'm chatting to you about this morning needs to be taken in context with regards to the market that you're targeting. All I'm really saying is you need to think about the market that you're targeting. This is the market that I am targeting. I'm targeting people who like images like that. You need to target the market that likes images that you like.
You target on the rich people.
Yes. Yes.
It's clearly a good thing. So
Yeah.
in Miami, I was successful. I was posing in Miami or something, and they appreciate. Here in Romania, they don't want to see
I think you.
what I'm doing.
I've only been here 3
The
days.
best.
I've only been here 3 days, but I think that there's a market here where you have rich people here.
Yeah, sure.
Do you not have rich
Many.
people here?
Yes,
Okay. So you need to find out what they like.
it's 0.1% from
Okay,
the
so
others.
why, 0.1%, why can't you be the photographer that is servicing that market?
Probably
There must be somebody that's doing it.
all of us, we have background in photography. That's why we are here.
Yes.
But perhaps we don't target the market like
Okay.
you do. So.
But my point is that you need to think very specifically about the market that you are targeting.
Yes.
Okay.
Quick question.
Thank you. Sorry.
Yes.
How much time would you give to what's question, what is asked for you from you to photograph, and how much do you get creatively?
So are you talking about the initial meeting? When you have a meeting with the bride and groom? Is that what you're talking about?
Right. So you shoot what is asked, what you ask for, and then you shoot your own visions, right?
Yeah.
So what's
It's
the
more
ratio?
it's more the other way around, because they appreciate my own vision first, and then I'll shoot the traditional stuff that everybody needs.
So is it about how much time you have, or where do you choose to shoot, creatively?
Okay, in terms of my structure when I shoot the wedding, when a client comes to see me, they know my style and they understand my brand. That's why they've come to see me, and I've already sent out a price list. So they know how much they're going to pay, and they know in the meeting, they know my work. So it's merely a discussion with regards to how much time I need to do this and how much time I need to do that. Now, if you know your work, if you've practiced, if you've shot images like this before, then that doesn't take you very long. That can take me 2-3 minutes. because I've got an assistant with me who understands lighting, and I say, all right, I'm going to shoot over here, put the ranger up over there, and I need it with this light modifier, and let's go. And I can shoot that. That's, if you know your stuff, that takes me 3 minutes to shoot. And if you have a clear idea of what you are going to shoot, then it's not a case of, okay, all right, let's take a picture over here. Bang, take the picture. Okay, let's go over there. It's not like that. I have a very clear, concise idea of what I want to do. And I'll go through those images, and I won't take any longer than any other photographer creating their style of work. Okay.
Okay.
All right, that's cool. Yes, sir.
It's me. I think I'm just the lucky one, because the wedding that I will shoot this year, I have two brides which are saying to me, I'm the main object in this wedding, so you have to shoot me first in front of everyone. But I have one problem. Let's say, how much time do I allocate to the bride to take all the pictures?
You need to allocate the amount of time that you know that you need. And if you have a meeting with the bride and you know that you need an hour to shoot those pictures, if those pictures are important to her enough, then you are going to structure the day. You're going to sit down with her and work out the timings of the day so that you have the time to shoot this.
At one of the weddings, I already spoke with the future bride, and I said to her that we need to meet a day before the wedding to shoot some pictures with her. Is this okay?
Why not?
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, so let's move on, guys. We'll have a more of a questions and answers session in a minute, but let's move on to some other images. So, again, using inspiration from Vanity Fair. Girls will read these magazines, they'll like images like that, so I'll go and shoot images like that for them. And they love those images, and I'm fulfilling their expectations with regards to the images that they're looking to see. So my wedding poses are very fashion inspired. They're not traditional poses that everybody is expecting to get. I'm on the plane, I'm on the way to a wedding, and I'm reading Vogue magazine, and I see a pose like that. Now, from there, you also have to understand that in bridal magazines or in fashion magazines, you're looking at one image. Now, you need to be able to adapt those poses and to incorporate that style and whatever's happening in those images. You need to incorporate that into your workflow so that you can get a variety of images that you can choose from. You don't want to shoot just that and then not have any options to choose when you're making the storybook. So I'm on the plane on the way to a wedding. I see that and I think, wow, that would be a really nice pose for a wedding image. So I'll get the bride to do that. And then when she's there doing that, straight away from there, it's easy because you can do one shot there, one shot there, one shot there. You can just move into various poses that you're giving yourselves options for when you look at your album. So you've got that there, down to there, to there, to there. And that's literally 4 shots. You were asking, how long does it take? Bang, 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 bang. 4 shots. Let's move on. Now that pose there was inspired by this Mario Testino pose, which was in Vogue magazine. If you look at groupings, images like this, it's not necessarily only wedding images that I look at. If I look at images like that, I think, okay, cool, I can post bridesmaids like that. So why can't we have a bridesmaid shot like that? And it's not a direct copy. It's just getting inspiration from that. Why do we have to have the bridesmaids all standing in a line smiling at the camera? Why can't we have images like that? If you want to cover yourself, then have everybody standing there in a line smiling, and then bring your own creativity to it. I was chatting earlier on about Jacques Weyers, a South African fashion photographer. He puts pieces of crystal in front of the lens. He'll put pieces of cellophane, plastic in front of the lens. These are his images over here. More images like that. Do you like images like that? It's not your style. Do you not think that there's a market that likes images like that? But it's not your style. Okay. Okay, so here I will mimic what Jacques Veyers has done, and I will shoot images like that, where I'm shooting images that they have seen in fashion magazines. Similar thing over here. And over there. Drawing inspiration from images like that, from adverts as well. I'm just going to go through a few of these images here. And then using flash outside with the guys to make them really nice and strong. You like that? Good.
Sorry for interrupting you, Brett. Hi. Great portfolio.
Where am I looking?
Here.
Yes, sorry.
Hi. Great portfolio, great inspiration. I would like to contradict my colleagues, let's say,
Okay.
and by saying that we can influence the market because we can create styles with our own creativity and explain to the customer that this is the way that we do things and really go all the way. And this is my point. We
Thank
can't
you.
play the
Yes.
market for not
So what you're
agreeing.
saying is that we need to be pioneers.
Yes, and we have to have the courage
That's
to do
a
this.
nice attitude to have.
Thank you.
Okay, so here we've got images where I've shot with flash outside during the day. I'm going to show you a few images of how we create images like this. And then things that perhaps might not necessarily work with wedding images in your mind. Over here we're going to an old scrapyard where there's scrap iron and things like that, and we're shooting in a scrapyard. So we're adding a little bit of depth to the image by shooting images that are not necessarily wedding inspired. This image over here is from a fashion magazine, and I was fortunate enough to shoot a wedding where we flew to the shoot in a helicopter, and I created this image over here. We looked to other adverts where the color might not necessarily be right, but that is an advert that appears in a bridal magazine, in a fashion magazine, and I look at that and I think, okay, let's put in nice orange warm tones where we've got a lot of backlighting. Similar shot over there, and then just playing with composition as well. Playing with composition and doing things that might not necessarily be expected in your wedding photography. And what's happening a lot now is you were chatting about shooting the day before the wedding. What's happening now is a lot of people are shooting the day after the wedding or a week after the wedding, where you can do things that perhaps are a little bit extravagant or a little bit out of the norm. Where here we went down to the beach and we shot images with the bridal couple in the waves, kissing in the waves. This has to be after the wedding. This image here, shot in a swimming pool. Shot in a swimming pool with this camera, the Nikon AW100. Really, really nice camera. It enables us now to be able to shoot images that we never thought we could shoot before, and putting stuff out there, like you were saying. Let's be a pioneer, putting stuff out there. If people like it. Before I shot these underwater images, I had the idea, because I'd seen underwater fashion images, and I thought, how nice would it be to be able to shoot underwater wedding images? And I thought, but nobody's going to want to do this. So this groom here used to be my assistant about 6 years ago. So he knows how I think. So I said to him, his name is Zane, and I said to him, Zane, let's shoot some underwater wedding pictures for your wedding. Yes, that would be so amazing. Since doing this, I think I've shot about 5 or 6, because people can see it. Now that they've seen it, now suddenly Now they want it. Wow, that's amazing. I want the same thing. So now what happens? Now what happens when I go to do a day after shoot, or I go to do...
Brad?
Yes, sir.
Excuse me here. The other pictures was before. And all this, where is the light put?
Where is the light?
Yes.
No lights.
No lights. You have minimal one light in the first picture.
It's in the swimming pool. It's in the swimming pool.
Don't
It's
have no one light?
There's post-production. I use Nick software. So there is post-production here where I've darkened the edges and I've made those beams of light come down.
Viveza too?
Sorry?
Viveza too?
Yes.
Okay, I understand.
Yes, that's Viveza.
Like
Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah.
understand how you make.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Sure. I forgot what I was on. By putting images out there and showing people what you like and what you want to do. Since then, like I say, I've done 5 or 6 underwater shots. But I can't get them to imagine an idea. I need to show them my work for them to come to me. And then what happens now, that's what I was thinking. What happens now, when we do a day after shoot, a week after or a day after, I'm starting to shoot these nice pictures in the forest or something like that. And the bride is saying to me, when are we getting wet? When are we getting wet? I'm like, okay, just relax. Let's take these pictures first before we go and get wet. Because getting wet, that's the last shot. You can't now go and do other things afterwards. So I need to build up a little bit of a story, and there needs to be something that makes make all the images come together in a theme. So, that has to be the last shot. But now people that come to me are so enthusiastic about shooting really nice, different things that they're asking, when can we do this? When can we do that? And it's like, okay, just relax. We'll do them in a minute. That being said, we still need, on the wedding day, we still need to get images like this. We still need to get images like that so that it adds balance to your album. Now, I do understand that some of you might feel that my work is a little bit out there with regards to what you guys are used to. But let me tell you, I've just come back from Vegas, WPPI. There is some crazy, crazy stuff going on that is absolutely beautiful. And I really appeal to you just to think outside the box and to look at different ways of expressing your creativity. We're all creative people. That's why you guys are here. You're creative people. And you just need to express that creativity. Like I said, you need to have images that are going to be sent to the grandmother and sent to other family members, and images that are bought as reprints and enlargements and framed images so that you have them on the wall at your home. The bride is going to buy the one underwater. She's going to have that one in her house. But the mum, she might not necessarily have that. She'll want that picture there. And you need to shoot those kind of images, those nice, beautiful, romantic, intimate moments that reflect the emotion of the day and the romance of the day. And create little stories. Create little stories. Shoot images that tell a story and lay it out in your book like that. Yes, sir.
What do you do to make the bride smile all the time, but not a forced smile? To make it like very natural, because
Okay.
she won't be smiling for 1 hour natural. At one point she'll be like forced to.
Okay, I hear you. You need to mix it up. You need to have balance. She's not smiling there.
Okay.
So you need to be a funny guy. You need to be able to interact with people, to make them feel comfortable, to make them understand your vision. So you need to articulate to your client what you're looking for and what you want them to look like. And I'm only speaking about the stylized moments, the posed moments. When something's happening naturally, obviously you're shooting sort of photojournalistically and you're going to get your shots. But if you're confident in your own ability and you have good people skills, then you're not forcing moments all the time. You're asking her, turn your head this way, Lift your head up to the light, chin down, looking down over there. Okay, give me a nice little smile there, gorgeous. Something like that. You know, just to make it, it's about your people skills and your personality, and you need to practice that. You need to practice that. So, girlfriend, sister, anything like that, try and practice. Because if you practice and you know your skill, by the time you get to the wedding, that gentleman's question over there about the timing, you're reducing your amount of time. If you've practiced and practiced and practiced, you know your stuff. You know exactly what you're going to create. And on the day, you're confident. And if you're confident, she's going to see that. She's going to be more confident in your ability, and she'll be happier in general. So let's talk about the nitty-gritty of what we need to create these images. Because obviously I was speaking about external flash a little earlier on, where I was speaking about the Elinchrom Ranger. And let's talk about some other equipment that we need for creating our own individual style. Now, this is an image of a D3S. Incredible camera, an amazing piece of technology. I really don't know how Nikon is going to do any better than this, but the D4 is here. So using a great piece of equipment allows you to do things that were not possible before. In the film days, it was 100 ISO or 400 ISO. And if you were on 100 ISO outside and now it's time to go into the church and you're only halfway through your roll it up, put in the 400, and in you go into the church. So we didn't have the technological capabilities that we have now. The D4, with its great low light capabilities, and I know, I know that in Romania we have big problems inside the church. I know that. I went for a walk yesterday, and I went into a church. It felt like I was going into a dark room. It's scary in there. But with the technology that's available to us, the D800, brilliant piece of equipment, nice low light capabilities. This shot over here was shot in London. In the background, you can see there's the Tower Bridge with the available light landing on the Tower Bridge. This was shot during one of my workshops. I do wedding photography workshops. I'm doing one in London in August, and this one was from last year's workshop. And you can see there's Tower Bridge in the background, and she's lit from the front with this flashlight. She was lit with this flashlight, and you can see that from this shot over here. There's the assistant. There's my assistant. Oh, it's backlit. Sorry. It's like, what? There's the assistant holding the flashlight. It's this flashlight. Now, if you guys want to have a look online, it's the LED Lenser. It's the T7. It's the same one that they use in CSI. You've seen CSI? And they're all looking for things in the daylight, looking for things from CSI, and the Lenser LED, it was that shot previous, this one here, was shot with that flashlight. Obviously, there are new, there's some new LED panels that you can get to light your subject. At WPPI, there's a new light that's been launched. It's the Ice Light by Jerry Gahoinis. Fantastic photographer. He won Album of the Year 8 out of 10 times this year. So he's the king of wedding photography, and he's just produced his own light. It's called the Ice Light. So go and have a look at that as well if you're interested. Okay, so 70 to 200, 2.8. Obviously, when you are coupling this with the low light capabilities of the D4 or the D3S or the D800, you are now able to shoot in extremely low light conditions that weren't necessarily available to us before. Incredible shallow depth of field, so you're focused on the veil and everything else falls off. Everything else is nice and soft around the edges. You can also see, perhaps some people are thinking here, but I can shoot that with my 5.6 lens and do it in Photoshop later. Now, if you're doing that to 30 images, how long is it going to take you to do it properly? It's going to take you 10, 15 minutes per image to do it properly. So let's say you're doing, 30 images. That's 300 minutes that you're adding to your post-production time. And we had a nice chat about how long you work on your weddings yesterday, and all that time is money. You guys are businessmen. You're entrepreneurs. Time is money. If you're sitting for 300 minutes making your pictures look like they were shot with a 2.8, after 3 or 4 weddings, you might as well have gone and bought a 2.8. Can you rent equipment in Romania? You can rent lenses and things? All right. Go and rent a lens. If you need that lens for that job, go and rent a lens. Go and rent a lens to practice as well. Okay, so with the 200 2.8, 70 to 200 2.8, bride is sharp, background is focused, is out of focus. It looks expensive. It looks like a professional shot it, so people are prepared to pay you more money. Okay, so let's talk about lighting equipment. In the old days, when we were shooting film, we were always told that the light must be behind the photographer, shining into the subject's eyes. Now the reason for that was because it was about exposure. Because when we were shooting film, we didn't have that luxury of seeing your image straight away and getting affirmation, seeing that you've got the shot and we can move on and your exposure is correct. So in the old days, we had to shoot with the sun behind us, shining directly into the subject's eyes. Yes, sir. I'm getting there. Yeah. No, it's okay. It's cool. Okay. The cool thing about that's a nice question. This gentleman over here asked if I use flash. It's a cool question because I know I made all these mistakes. So I know your questions. I know what you're thinking. So we'll get to that. Okay, so this is the kind of image you're going to get when you're shooting with the sun shining directly into the subject's eyes and the light is coming from behind the photographer. Now, the reason for that, as I said, was when we were shooting film, great exposure. It's lovely exposure. You've got your shadows. We can see the shadows. You've got your highlights. And you've got your midtones. Okay. But it's a horrible picture. Because you've got these eyes that make her look like a panda. She's got these dark black rings over here. She's got the highlights across her nose and her nose over here. Front is blown out and side shadow. It's not a great image to give to a client. So what can we do? We need to put in a bit of effort into our photography to make it look professional and make it look expensive. So you can get a 5-in-1 reflector. You got a 5-in-1 reflector like this, and this is, I think it's like 40 euro. Is that right? People know? More or less about 40 euro. And it's a 5-in-1 reflector, and inside it you have your diffuser. Okay, so you take your diffuser. This one here is a large one. It's for a full body, so it's not necessarily only for head and shoulders, but this is good enough. 40 euros, and that's the difference in your picture. You've got great lighting falling on her now. It looks like she was shot with a softbox because you've created this beautiful even lighting falling onto her. You can see now that you've reduced the contrast. You've taken the highlights out and you've reduced those to midtones, and you've elevated the shadows so that you've made more midtones out of the shadows as well. So that's one option. Now that option cost you 40 euro. The difference between that shot and that shot, you can increase your prices by 20%. Does anybody not agree with me that the difference in quality of your photography, I mean, if you've got great quality photography, if you've got a great product, and surely you can increase your prices if your quality is better. Okay, so how else do we combat these severe lighting conditions? These shots here, this test, was all shot within 5 minutes of each other. So it's bright sunlight, it's 11 o'clock in the morning, it is the worst time to shoot. Everybody agree? So what do? We turn the bride around and we shoot backlit now. So everything again was shot on aperture priority f4. We turn the bride around and we get that image. We've got correct exposure because it's matrix metering through the lens. We've still got a contrasty image though. There's a lot of contrast in this image. So what have we got here? We've got shadows and we've got highlights. Not many midtones. So what can we do to do that? On your cameras, you've got that EV button, that exposure value button, that plus minus. EV overexposed by a stop and 2/3 maybe. You're going to go from that to that. So what you've done here is you've elevated your shadows into your midtones. And you've elevated your highlights blown out completely. So now you've got this image where it's a very high key image. Her skin is correctly exposed. And you've only changed the setting on the camera. You haven't added any additional lighting or anything like that. Beautiful light falling on her. She's not staring into the sun, so she's not squinting. She's got this really nice light falling onto her from the front, and you've elevated the shadows into the midtones. What you could do then is bring the reflector in, reflect some light, manipulate available light into her, and what's happening there is now you've brought back those highlights that you had lost before, and you've elevated the shadows into the midtones. So now you've got an image here where it's a little bit more balanced. You've reduced the contrast by adding in available light with a reflector or with a reflector. If you wanted to explore other types of lighting techniques, sure, you could use a flash, a speed light. Speed lights are really, really good. I use my speed lights during the reception where I've got walls to bounce light off. If I'm going direct flash, it's not a great image. You're going to get these hot spots. You're going to say, well, I can take them out in Photoshop, but once again, how long is it going to take you to get those images out? So what I like and what I have, I invested in a Ranger RX kit. It's portable studio lighting. It's a battery pack that fashion photographers use. Now, I'll take the techniques that I've seen in fashion magazines and I'll apply them to that. Basically, it's a studio on location. It's a battery pack. It's not attached to a generator. You can charge it and then you can get 150, 200 shots out of this at maximum power. But maximum power is it's very, very powerful. This shot over here, if I've got the umbrella that far away from the bride, I'm shooting that at f22 and 250ths of a second. So what's going to happen there is instead of the ambient light being my primary light source, the ambient light becomes my secondary light source and my flash becomes my primary light source. So I can control the direction and the intensity of that light. Bearing in mind that we shot all of this within the same time frame and it's the same light, the ambient lighting conditions, that's what we've got there now as our final image. that I know the client is going to like, because she reads fashion magazines where she sees images like this. Okay, I need to take a 2-minute break just because I've been speaking a lot. Can we just show a little video from one of my workshops, I think it is. Let's just have a look at the next video, and then I'll just chat about that. Thank you.
Step behind the camera lens with one of the world's leading wedding photographers. Brett Florence takes you from dawn to dark on one of his incredible wedding shoots.
You have to look at the camera, okay? Not at me. I know that's going to be difficult for a few of you ladies. Straight at the camera. Okay, hold it there. Got the shot. You will see this.
Gain invaluable information on lighting, posing, and technical know-how.
Stunning. You'll notice that I shoot everything in pairs so that I've got pictures for both sides of the page in the album. That's it. Stunning
Brett
stuff.
shares it all. If you're wanting to raise the bar with your own wedding photography, this is the DVD for you.
And we use this grey card for color consistency throughout the album.
If there's only one tutorial DVD you purchase this year, it should be Behind the Lens with Brett Florence.
Okay, thank you. That was a DVD that I created where I was mic'd up. I had a team of videographers follow me, and they filmed me at a wedding, and I'm explaining to you what I'm doing and why I'm doing it and my thought process. So that's a DVD that I have. It's an instructional tutorial DVD. Okay, so a lot of questions that were going around were regarding marketing. How do you get the client that likes this kind of work, or how do you get the client that likes your kind of work? Thank you, Violetta. Thank you. That's great. Cool. All right. Now, traditionally, you would think that I need to market to the bride. I need to be in bridal magazines. I need to be in. I need to go to wedding shows, wedding exhibitions. Obviously, my website is really important. And all of those things are. But you have to think about how you are advertising. The message that you are sending out to your specific client. And I've got an example here. This bridal magazine is a magazine that is produced in England. If you are going to go into a bridal magazine, you need to like that magazine. We all know that magazines approach us and ask us, please come and advertise in us, and sometimes they're a little bit pushy when they're asking you to advertise in their magazines. Rather, take the money that you were going to spend on a small advert in 5 magazines and do a 1-page ad. If you go for a 1-page ad, this is if you want to be in bridal magazines. Rather go for a 1-page ad because you're sending out the message that you've got disposable income to advertise a full page in a magazine, which is going to appeal to more affluent people. If you're an affluent person looking for a photographer and you look through the magazines and you see small little adverts like this, and then you see a great big advert, who are you going to be more attracted to? You're going to be attracted to the person who looks as if he's successful, and the reason why he looks like he's successful is because he's got a full page ad in the magazine. What we have to do is think like a bride. You have to think like a bride when you are constructing your advert. So what you have to understand is when a bride gets engaged on a Friday night or a Saturday night, she's inundated with information. It's information overload. And you girls that have been married, you all know that everybody is excited for you and everybody wants to ask you questions. Where are you getting married? What color are the bridesmaids' dresses? What flowers are you going to use? And it's like, whoa, relax. I've just got engaged. Give me time to just, absorb the moment and I can deal with all those kind of things later. But everybody is putting pressure onto you, and there's this information overload where your friends might have a pile of magazines that they collected when they got married. Here, have a look at these. And you're looking through these magazines, and there's just wedding pictures and all this information that's being thrown at you all the time. Now, what I did was I looked through bridal magazines to see how other photographers advertise, because we all know that if you buy a magazine, the first section you go to is the photography section, right? So I went to the photography section and I looked through the magazines. This is an image shot by the magazine, and I just want you to quickly come and have a quick look over here. This is produced by the magazine. Look at that big flare spot right in front of her face. You see, but the magazine is saying, this is cool. The magazine's putting out that impression that is cool. Okay, you don't think it's cool, but there are clients that think it's cool. Okay, so let's have a look at some of these adverts. Just from over there, you can see this. It's busy. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of images. There's a lot of writing. There's a lot of words. If you look at that, there's a lot there, isn't there? Okay? So what these adverts are doing, and what I found, it's adding to the confusion. What the photographers have done here, I mean, that section there, it's busy. I'm not saying that these photographers are not successful, because the market that they're targeting, they might be successful in terms of who they are targeting. But it's busy and there's a lot of information. So, okay, I mean, it's page after page of information and information overload. Now, she's confused already when she's looking through these magazines. She doesn't really know what she's looking for. So when she's looking through all of this busyness, what I thought about and what I wanted to project, the image that I wanted to project, and the clear, concise message that I want to send out is that. So this here is my ad. That there is my ad in this magazine. After all this busyness, I specifically asked the magazine, I said, I'll take a full page ad in your magazine if you put me last. Because I want her to get confused. I want her to see too many images and so much information. And then I want her to turn the page and go, yes, that's the person I want. Or, no, that's not the person I want. Because if she doesn't phone me and she doesn't like me, that's cool. Because I haven't wasted her time, she hasn't wasted my time. So I produce images that I like. And I produce images for my advertising. One picture. If she likes that picture, she will come to me. I don't need to put all the other types of images that I shoot. I don't need to put photojournalistic, posed, architecture. It's just adding to the confusion. One picture. If she likes it, she'll phone me. If she doesn't like it, she won't phone me. I only need to book 20 weddings a year. So I'm only looking for 20 clients that like my work. Okay, then. Advertising in bridal magazines is expensive. Now that was targeting the bride. Actually looking to capture the bride. She's reading a magazine, she sees my work, and then she will phone me or contact me via email. It's expensive. It is expensive to advertise in magazines. And there is a much better way and a much cheaper way to get your name out there and to get your marketing for free. What happens when you go to a wedding? There's a florist, there's a cake designer, there's a gown designer, hair, makeup, jewelry, all the other suppliers that are part of the wedding industry. Now, a florist who creates these beautiful flowers at the reception, she has created all these amazing images. And have any of you gone to a reception where you're shooting detail shots of the reception hall or the flowers on the table or something like that, and you get there and the florist is still working? Have you seen that? They're up on a step ladder, they've got that belt around them with the clippers in here, and they're sweating and they're doing all this work, and then it's like, wow, this is amazing. I've created such beautiful flowers and table decorations. Take their phone. Has anybody seen this? This is real. Okay, like that. So now, what type of an image is she going to get? What type of an image? She's created flowers that cost thousands of euros or dollars or pounds or whatever. She's created these flowers that have cost the bride a lot of money. So what happens now? That's what she's got to show for it. There's her finger in the shot. This is real. This is real. I shot her. I saw her doing that. I said, please, can I take a picture of you taking a picture of the flowers? She looked at me a little bit strange. But that's what she got. That is what she got from that shot that she shot with her little point and shoot or with her phone. So now what I do is I shoot details specifically for the suppliers. I go to a wedding, in my mind I'm thinking I need to get my work out there to the suppliers. If you're lucky to have a wedding coordinator, you're going to send pictures to the wedding coordinator. You're going to send pictures to the florist. You're going to send pictures to any person that you can because it's free. You put your branding on it and you send it to them with an email. You say, "Dear Diane, it was wonderful working with you last week. You created some beautiful flowers. Here are some images that I shot for you to use in your marketing. If you want to use them in your adverts, that's wonderful. All I ask is that you put that I shot the picture." So now what happens is a bride will get engaged. She'll be walking down the street, and like we spoke about a little bit earlier, before she entered this market, she didn't know about the wedding industry. So she enters the market. Now she's looking for suppliers. So she walks down the street. She sees a florist. She walks into the florist. She says, "Hi there. I got engaged on Friday night, and I'm just wondering, do you do wedding flowers?" Yes, we do wedding flowers. Come and look at my portfolio. Those flowers were beautiful, but that's what she's going to show them. So now maybe she prints them out and puts them into an album, or she's got them on a gallery online. Exactly the same bouquet, exactly the same table setting. She's looking at all these pictures that she shot, that the florist shot with a point and shoot. She's looking through all of these pictures, and then she starts to come across images like that. At the bottom, it's got my branding. I'll send her a shot like that, where it's all the different aspects of the wedding, and I'm shooting with my great lenses. I'm shooting with the 85 1.4. I'm shooting with the macro lens. The florist can't get pictures like this. And if she tries to get pictures like this through the bride, it's going to be difficult for her. Because the bride is going to be paying me for reprints. So if the bride says to me, "Oh, I need pictures for the florist," I'm going to charge, if I wasn't thinking the way I was thinking before, you're going to end up charging the bride for those reprints. The bride's not going to order reprints for the florist. And the florist is not going to be prepared to pay a large amount of money for images. So I give them to them for nothing. And I say to them, please use them in your advertising. Please use them in your marketing, on your website, wherever you can, as long as you write my name. So the bride goes to the florist. She sees these average-looking pictures that she shot with her point and shoot, and then pop, 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 my pictures are jumping out the page at her. She's never heard of me before, because she's never been in the wedding industry. So all these images are popping out at her, and she sees my name. It doesn't mean she's going to phone me straight away. She's just seen my name. She thinks, okay, right, what do I need to do? I need to organize my life. Let me go and see a makeup artist. So she goes to the makeup artist. She goes to the makeup artist. That's the type of image that the makeup artist, okay, we mustn't laugh too much because we can't do makeup. Okay, but that's the type of shot that the makeup artist is going to have in her portfolio. So she's going to have this image with things in the background, and it's messy, it's shot with direct flash. The makeup doesn't look great at all. So she's going to look at that and see all of these type of pictures through the makeup artist's portfolio. Turn the page. My name again. So she went to the florist, she saw my name. Then she went to the makeup artist and she saw my name. Dress designers. Those are the kind of images that I'm going to give to the makeup artist. And when you're shooting for the makeup artist, girls know this, boys don't know this so much. You need a shot with the eyes half closed, because in makeup it's all about the eyelids. Okay, so you need to shoot with the bride looking down. It might not necessarily go into your album, but that's the shot that the makeup artist is looking for. And I know this sounds ridiculous, but don't send it to her in black and white. She needs to see the color of the makeup. Okay, so the same thing will happen with the gown designer. The gown designer, he's making this beautiful, gorgeous gown for the bride. Very expensive, veil, expensive fabric. The bride is standing there, the gown designer picks up her camera or his camera and point and shoot, flash, bang, takes the shot. In the background it's busy, it's messy, there's rolls of fabric over there, it's a mess. And because they're not using lenses with a shallow depth of field, you've got the bride in focus and the mess in focus in the background. And then I will send them a great image of the gown hanging, that shot that you saw, just the gown. And I'll send that to the gown designer. And I'll send it, I shoot weddings where Vera Wang was the dress designer, the gown designer. I will send her pictures. If she gets them, I know that she's very busy, but if she gets them, she gets them. If she doesn't get them, I tried. And if I don't try, I'm not gonna know. Maybe one day she'll see one picture, like it, phone me, and next minute I'm shooting a Vera Wang commercial or something like that. Get your work out there. Get your work out there to the right people, to the wedding coordinators. So the most important and the cheapest way to market your work is to get in with the industry. Make friends with the videographer. I understand that the videographer sometimes can get in your way. But if you have a great working relationship with the videographer, sorry about that. If you have a great working relationship with the other suppliers, they're going to want to work with you. So the next time you work with a videographer, make friends with him. And once you've got your shot, get out of his way, because his career is as important to him as your career is to you. It's not all about you. It's about the team creating the perfect wedding for the bride. And what you'll find is that you end up working with the same people, because those people recommend you and you recommend them. If I work with a makeup artist that's late, because we all know that sometimes hair and makeup end up being late, I won't recommend them. And if a bride says to me, who do you prefer to work with, this makeup artist or that makeup artist? Which one am I going to choose? I'm going to choose the one that works best with me, even if she's not the best makeup artist. It's the same thing with the florist. If somebody says to the florist, who do you recommend for photography? The florist is going to think, this person, Mark Smith, is the best photographer in the world, but he never sends me pictures. I have to take my own pictures. Or Brett Florence, who always sends me pictures. I don't even have to take my point and shoot to the wedding, where I'm standing up on the stepladder taking pictures of my creations. She's going to recommend me, because she doesn't have to worry about her pictures. She doesn't have to worry about advertising. I will send them images. And when I do send them images, you'll see here, this is the letter that I sent to the florist. It's Boston Ivy Flowers, great florist that I work with back home. And I write there, Dear Diane, and I make it come from my assistant so that it makes me look a little bit more professional. Okay? Even if you don't have an assistant. Okay, Dear Diane, Brett Florence recently photographed a wedding where you were one of the suppliers. I've attached a few images from the wedding. Please feel free to use them for your marketing, be that online or in your print advertising. If you require images for your print ads at a higher resolution, please let us know and Brett will get back to you. So that means I have to make a decision, even though I wrote this myself. Please understand that the copyright of the images belong to Brett and a byline would be appreciated. Thank you. We look forward to working with you again. They are blown away. They say to you, I've never had this. They say to you, amazing. Thank you so much for doing that. There's her reply. Hi, Samantha. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you sending us images. They look gorgeous. Kind regards, Diane. Next month in the Bridal Magazine, Boston Ivy Flowers, photo by Brett Florence. Now, I'm in bridal magazines. I'm in the makeup section, in the photography section, in the makeup section, in the hair section, in the gown section, all these kind of things. That reaffirms my brand. And it also shows that I'm working with decent high-end suppliers, other suppliers in the industry, so that I end up working in a team where sometimes we'll shoot a wedding where it's the same suppliers shooting this wedding and 2 weeks' time we're shooting again. The A team is back again. So you've got to think about so many things, and there's so many aspects. And like I said a little earlier, maybe my style is not for you. Maybe you don't like my style. Maybe you do like my style. But I only need 20 people to like my work. There's an amazing photographer out of Seattle, Chase Jarvis. He wrote a piece on stop trying to get other people to like your work. And he's talking about Facebook. Stop trying to get other people to like your work. And he's talking about, I had 75 likes on my picture. I don't need 10,000 likes on my picture. I need 20 people a year to like what I do and to book me because they like my style. We're going to do a little bit of a questions and answer session now, and then in 10 minutes we're going to break for lunch. Can we just roll one more video there, please? Sorry to just jump in and give you...
No day that ever starts like this is going to be bad.
Beautiful, that's nice. Right, Paul, let's get you in next behind her.
Into her arms and kissed me like
I've got my shot of Paul saying his vows or putting on the ring.
with daylight exploding through my window.
Nice. That's gorgeous. Okay, so that is the trailer for a DVD that I produced, which is my 3-day wedding workshop on DVD. So it's the whole workshop that was recorded. It was the workshop that was in London. The whole DVD that was recorded. And obviously you see what the students are shooting as well. Because when you come on a workshop, it's not what I can shoot. It's what you can shoot. So you'll see images like that as well. I have the DVDs and my book. I wrote a book on wedding photography. That'll be at the back as well that we can chat about during the break. And then for the next, I don't know how many hours, maybe 12 hours. Tomorrow morning I'm going to change this. But all my slides from this presentation, all these slides are available now from this website if you want to download the PowerPoint presentation. Also, there's a small little gift there for you as a download. So go and have a look. I'll leave this up during the break as well. So go to this website. It's mydrive.ch. It's Brett Florence Workshops, all in one word, capital B, capital F, capital W, and your password is Romania. We're going to break now for about half an hour. But before we do that, 5 minutes, questions and answers. Right, that gentleman at the back over there.
Hi. How much do people spend on a wedding where you're coming from? And I'm sorry, I didn't get that because I was late.
No, I didn't tell anyone.
Oh, you didn't. So
Okay, the question is how much do people spend on weddings where I come from? Now that's a really good question because I don't target people who come from where I come from. Because where I come from, it's not super rich. So I have targeted myself as an international destination wedding photographer. So I advertise in UK magazines. I live in Durban, South Africa. I advertise in UK wedding magazines. I've shot in New York. I've shot in Paris. I've shot in a lot of different places because I'm specifically targeting people who, when you get married, it's a once-off purchase. Or sometimes it's a bit more than once, but but generally it's supposed to be a once-off purchase. So clients with money, they're prepared to pay a lot of money for all the suppliers, not necessarily just the photography. If you're asking in terms of costing, what you should be doing is you should be charging 10% of the client's total budget for the wedding. So if you've got a wedding in Romania that on average costs 25,000 euro, is that about right? Not right. What, 50,000 euro? Okay? There are weddings that people are spending money on, guys. Don't come with this no story. There are people that are spending money. You need to charge around about 10% of the market that you're targeting. So if you're targeting high-end wedding, all over the world, some people spend millions of dollars and pounds on their wedding. Some people spend millions of dollars and pounds on their child's 18th birthday. Somebody's got to be photographing that. Why can't it be us? So aim for 10%. In London, I start at £8,000. Okay, any other questions? Please, guys. It makes me feel bad if nobody wants to talk. Right, here we go.
Brad, if in my things, every marriage have to have a story back.
Say that again?
In my head, every marriage,
Yes.
every event must have a story back.
A storybook?
Yes.
Yes?
If you don't know the
ask your
people's-
question in Romanian and Joe will translate.
At every wedding, there has to be a story behind the wedding.
Yes?
If you don't know the person that's getting married, how can you express the feelings of the couple?
Okay, you have meetings with the clients beforehand, so you get to know them. It's just the same as any other supplier. The person who's the, am I answering your question correctly? Okay.
If you have a wedding in New York, you're going there to meet the persons that are getting married.
Yes. No. On Skype. Skype. You have a Skype meeting. Obviously, you know, Romania is very, very similar to South Africa. I'm telling you, just wait. Listen to me. Listen to me. You guys changed your government in 1989. We changed our government in 1994. A lot of people left the country to go and work somewhere else, and they come home to get married. Am I right? Because it's expensive to get married in London, and it's expensive to get married wherever they've gone to go and work. So a lot of people come home to get married. It's exactly the same in South Africa. So often, you'll have a meeting with the client on Skype, on the telephone. Sometimes you're having a meeting with the mother because her daughter is overseas working in anywhere in the world. So a lot of times you have Skype meetings because the couple coming home to get married. The week before the wedding, when they're here, that's when you have your meeting face to face with the couple. So Romania is a lot like South Africa. Any other questions before we break for lunch? Come on, one more question. Don't be shy, guys. Come on. Yes, just hold on. Wait for the mic there.
What was your first Nikon camera?
My first Nikon camera was the D100. Do you know how much it cost? 3,800 pounds. 3,800 euro. 1 gig memory card. 1 gig memory card. Do you know how much that cost? 90 euro. 90 euro. 900 rand. Yeah, 900 rand. 90. That's how things have changed. In the beginning, cameras were really expensive. 3,800 euro for the D100. So my first digital camera was the D100, and then the D2X, and then the D3, the D3S, and hopefully if I play my cards right with Nikon, we'll have a D4 soon. But prior to that, when I was a policeman, no, I had the F3. Yeah. When I was a policeman, I was shooting with a point and shoot, and there was this photographer from Newsweek magazine. He was looking at me and saying, "What are you doing?" So I said, "Well, this is the other policeman. I can't afford decent equipment, and the state says you're a photographer, buy your own camera." Okay, so South Africa is a lot like Romania. He said to me, with Newsweek, we get new cameras all the time because he's a photojournalist. Here is a Nikon F3 with a 55mm macro lens, a prime macro lens. You still change the aperture like this, and then the 135 portrait lens, fixed lens. That macro lens I still use today. Because when I'm shooting, I take out my details, I put them on the table, and I'm shooting, and every single time I use that macro lens, I remember where I come from. And I remember my roots as a police photographer back in those days, and I just take a moment to realize how my dream has come true. So if I read that 55mm macro lens, that'll be with me forever.
Just one quick question. Do you edit your own photos? Or do you have a team, an assistant or something, or even an online service as Jerry Giannis?
Okay. What I've realized very quickly, and you guys know this, sitting behind the computer for hours and hours and hours, it's exhausting. It's not great for your family. It's not great for your friends, because you guys are here on a Saturday morning. You don't have friends. I can see that. So I know that feeling. I know that feeling where your social life is your photography. So what I realized is that sitting behind the camera for hours and hours is not good for me, and my time is more expensive than that. So I incorporate those costs into my pricing. I want to be shooting, and this is my system. There are a lot of photographers who like being behind a computer. I don't. So I have one Photoshop operator. Her name is Samantha. She sits next to me, and the cool thing about that is that she's a specialist. She's a specialist Photoshop operator, digital artist. She will look through Photoshop magazines, and she'll do her own online tutorials and improve her skills as a Photoshop operator so that she's the specialist. I'm the specialist photographer. Samantha is the specialist digital artist, and Mandy, she puts the albums together. So that's her speciality. I'm not fantastic at Photoshop. I'm not saying I'm fantastic at photography, but that's what I know, and that's what I concentrate on. So I give the client the best product from the best input. And if you want to outsource your touch-ups, your retouching, there are many companies that do that. There are companies in China, there are companies in India. You upload your photographs, you go to sleep, you wake up, they're done. And it's not that expensive if you work out how much time it would have cost you. Any other questions? All right, one more. Oh, there we go. We've got one more question.
Hi, I would like to ask you, what do you deliver to the clients? I mean, I know photos, but
Yes.
what format and
What format do I deliver to the client?
in print or any other?
Okay. When I deliver my images to the client, I give them a traditional matted album. When I say a matted album, it's real photographs printed onto the printed and then mounted onto the pages with those frame cutouts on top of them. It's quite a traditional way of doing it, but the clients that I am targeting, they want that big, heavy book. It's leather, can smell that it's expensive. And then what I do is I upsell and I try and sell them the storybook album as well, so that they've got the coffee table, they've got the big matted album, those big thick Italian handmade albums. And then what I'll also do is do an album similar to Graphy Studio. You guys know Graphy Studio? Those storybook albums where it looks like the pages of a magazine, those coffee table books. So your primary album will be the big one, and then I try and sell the client a storybook album as well. Over and above that, I sell prints, canvases, gallery framed images, reprints of like photographs that they're going to put in their own frames into their homes. So that's my final output to the client. How do I send everything to them? That's a good question. If I know that a supplier is of good quality, then I will use them in that area, because I know that I'm going to get a good product to the client fast. Because from South Africa, if I post you something, it's going to take a long time, and perhaps it's going to get damaged along the way. So if it's a client in UK, I use Photobox. It depends. If it's for a major image that I need to get framed, I might print it myself and then courier it over to the client. But generally, I use the same supplier all the time. You can't take a risk with things like that, because it's your brand. You take a risk, and suddenly now, you were supposed to be a hotshot photographer, and look at the quality of the work. So you need to know how your suppliers, the kind of product that your suppliers are providing. I don't give them DVDs, no. No, because I want to make more money from them from reprints.
How many time takes you to deliver?
Does that answer your question?
No. Okay. How many time?
How long do I take? How long do I take
to deliver?
Usually around 6 to 8 weeks. But I tell the client 10 weeks.
10 weeks.
So that I've over-deliver. The client is expecting 10 weeks, and I give it to her in 6 weeks. But about 6 to 8 weeks. Okay, guys, is that cool?
There's a question from home. There's a question from
there's
home.
a question from online. This is cool.
How do you choose the places to have a photo shooting in other cities? If a client books you for a city you haven't been before,
Yes.
you ask them to tell you the places they would like to be shot on, or you arrive earlier and have a research by yourself?
I think it's a bit of both. If it's a city that I've been to before, and I know the areas that I'd like to shoot, then I will suggest some places to them, or exactly what the person asking the question is saying. I will get suggestions from the client, and then perhaps I will go a day early and go and scout out various areas. Sometimes locations charge you to shoot there. Sometimes people will go to a specific hotel, and they will pay a location fee to that hotel to have their images shot there. What we have to understand, and what we have to get out of our mindset is that we are not our target market. I can't afford me. So I'm not targeting the people that think the way I think. I'm targeting people who think completely differently. I'll shoot a wedding and the client will say, oh, let's go to this hotel to shoot the pictures. And I'll say, okay, you know, are they charging us location fee? Yes, they're charging us 200 euro. And I'm like, wow, I could have put that onto my account. And for them, they're getting nice pictures. It's their priority. Or they're staying in that hotel. And they'll say to that hotel, please can we shoot pictures in here because we're staying in that hotel for the first night. You have to understand that I'm shooting weddings where it's not my own social network. I'm targeting people that are richer than me. Isn't that what we want? Seriously? We don't want to target people that have less money than what we have. The whole point is to aspire to greater things. So we are going to target people with more money than us.
One last a question, please. How many photos do you put in an album?
How many photos do I put in
Yes.
an album? It really does depend on the size of the wedding. You saw one of those pictures that came up there. There were 16 bridesmaids.
I see.
Now, for some people, that's not a lot. That's normality. Sometimes you shoot a wedding, there's one bridesmaid. Sometimes you shoot a wedding, there's nobody there. Bride, groom, no family, no friends, and the priest. And then they say, we need somebody to witness. Brett, can you come and witness? I promise you, I've done weddings like that. So their album is going to be a little bit smaller. It's going to be a little bit smaller. But I would say, on average, 350, 450 images that go into the album, on average.
One question.
Yes, sir.
Here.
Yes, sir.
You said you started, let's call it low, as a policeman. And
I start with?
You started as a policeman. And
Yes.
how long did it took you to reach this level?
Okay.
This whole marketing, this whole...
Yes, yes.
It's time consuming. How long?
Yes. Okay. When I started, I made all the same mistakes that most people are making. So I was shooting for 8 years or 10 years, doing it the wrong way, increasing my prices little bit, because I thought the market can't handle an increase. People won't book me, things like that. Then I bought a DVD online, a photographer by the name of Mike Cologne. He's from California. He has a DVD out. Don't buy his DVD, but buy my DVD. He's a great guy. I just did a workshop with him now in Las Vegas. And he's got this DVD called Reaching the High-End Bride. And he talks about things like that. He talks about thinking like high-end people think. You know, if you normally have people coming to your house to see your portfolio, but you don't live in a nice area, and your house is a bit of a mess, and you've got dogs running around in the lounge, and your children are running around, it's not professional. Find out where that person works. If they work in a nice area, or maybe they don't work because they're retired, but if they work in a nice area, find out which is a really trendy place in that area, and say to them, meet me at this coffee shop, or meet me at this bar. Immediately they think, this guy knows where the trendy places are. He's on the same wavelength as me. Whereas those people come to your house and it's not what they are used to, they're going to feel like, yeah, maybe not. So your question was, how long did it take me? It took me too long because I realized after 10 years I'm not getting anywhere and I'm killing myself. I was shooting 60 weddings a year with hardly any money because I was too cheap and targeting the wrong type of person. And when the more affluent people look at my website, they see images of people that are below their social standing, so they're not intrigued, they're not excited, they're not attracted to those type of images. So when I changed my whole philosophy, it's not going to happen immediately, because the thing that's going to happen is you have to rebrand everything, because you're targeting a different market now. So once you've rebranded and you get that first wedding that is the right client for you, the people at that wedding, that's your new target market, because they're the same social standing of those friends. So when you're targeting those people, if they have only just got engaged, then they're potentially your client. If they've been engaged for 6 months, they've already got another photographer. So that person that you are targeting then potentially is only getting married in 9 months' time or in a year's time. So by getting that first real client that you really like, the next one is only coming in 10 months' time from this circle, because you know that it all works from recommendations. People talk to their friends, and that's how it works. And those suppliers from that wedding, because you're going to send pictures to those suppliers are only going to get you weddings in 9 months' time or something. So I think that from a rebranding point of view, if you like what I've said this morning, because some of you might think this guy's talking rubbish, but if you like what I've said this morning, and if you thought about it and you want to rebrand your brand, give yourself 2 or 3 years before you are going to be shooting the right weddings week after week after week. And then in that time, don't get frustrated because you've booked people from before you rebranded. Still shoot for them the way, 100% passion and 100% commitment to that client. But you have to understand that those people at that wedding are no longer your target market. So when they phone you and you're more expensive, you've lost that whole circle. So you have to make a decision that you want to rebrand, and if you don't want to, that's cool. Carry on doing it the way you're doing it. If it's working for you, that's fine. I'm merely here to express what's happened in my life and how I've progressed along the way. Okay, one more question, and then we're going to go have a break. Okay, 2 more questions, because this chap's got the mic.
Okay, first you said about advertising in magazines, then about word of mouth. Which one gets you more clients? How many of your clients are attracted by the advertisements in magazines and so on and so forth? And how many from word of mouth, be it from friends
word of mouth,
from...
Word of mouth is way more effective. Way more effective. What your advert in the magazine does, it adds legitimacy to your brand. It emphasizes your brand, and also in the magazine, I'm not only targeting the bride, I'm targeting the wedding coordinators and the florists. They turn the page, they go, whoa, who's this guy? I've never heard of this guy before. That picture's very nice. I want to work with this guy. So the wedding coordinators then look at that and see my brand and want to work with me. But if you're asking me which is more successful in terms of getting the brides, definitely word of mouth and targeting the trade, getting in with other suppliers and other vendors. Okay, last question, and then we're going to have a break.
Hello.
Hi.
We know that the beauty of an image is made with depends on many things. Between that, the beauty of the people, it's a basic thing. So what is your approach with clients that are not so beautiful or not so well...
Okay, all right. It is a very tough one. It is a very tough one, and I understand the question fully.
Because in Romania, the...
no, don't say that. Don't say that.
The people with many money, they are not
they're not so beautiful.
No, not very educated or very...
The people with money.
Some of them,
Yeah?
I don't know.
Most of them... Gee, we're going to start a political debate here. Okay. Okay, I didn't hear that, but I understand the question. If you have a person that's, I'm going to be very good with this one. If you have a person that society says is not an attractive person, okay, they might still be very confident because they might not know that they're ugly, okay? But they will still exude confidence. And by shooting them in a way that makes them feel comfortable, if you are pleasing your client, you've done your job, all right? When I advertise in magazines, I use my beautiful brides in my advertising on my website. Oh no, there might be brides watching now that aren't on my website. Wow, that was a tough question. So I put images out there that are of attractive people, so that when a bride who might feel a little bit insecure or she might be self-conscious, she's not going to like my photography because she'll look at it and think, it's not really for me. I don't want to look at the camera. I don't want to pose. I just want a photographer to be a photojournalist and leave me alone and capture moments. That's fantastic. It's not my target market. If she is what society dictates as unattractive, but she is confident and she likes my work, she's going to be as easy to work with as somebody who is attractive.
And at the beginning of your work, you tried to shoot beautiful people from I don't know,
I understand the question.
Not really groom and bride, but I don't know, friends of you or
models.
Models.
If you go to yes. If you don't have images that you like, that you want to use in your marketing, go to a modeling agency. You have to invest. This is a business. If you want to be a plumber, you have to buy a truck. You have to get the equipment. You have to get the branding right. So if you want to be a photographer and you want to target higher end clients and you don't have images that are going to appeal to high end clients, go out and shoot them. Go to a modeling agency. This is a fantastic way to get into the industry as well. I went down for a walk yesterday. There are loads, hundreds of gown shops with bridal gowns, and it's all about weddings. Go to those stores and say, but pick the ones that look rich. Go there and say, let me use your gown for the day. In return, I will give you pictures. And you do that with the model. You say to the model, I will give you pictures. You say to the hairdresser, I will give you pictures. Say to the makeup artist, then you create the images that you like under your own working conditions, so that you're in control of the light, you're in control of the timing, you don't have that emotional pressure on the day of the wedding, and you create beautiful images that you want to use for your own marketing and advertising. And then talking about your own marketing and advertising, tomorrow, if some of you don't know, tomorrow I have a full day workshop. So you've listened to me for 2 hours. If you feel like you want to listen for some more and you want to listen for a full day, tomorrow I have a workshop, a full day workshop here in Bucharest. We can get the details at the back from Violetta. I will be here to chat to you during the break for lunch. We've got DVDs at the back there, and I've got some books here as well. Also, those people online, we're going to be doing a crit from some work that some people have submitted. At the end of all of that, we're going to pick some people online, and fortunately for the Romanians, it's for people that live in Romania. So if you win a prize online, you need to collect it from Skin Media in Bucharest. And then we'll have you guys over here that will also, if you're in the audience, like I said, just go onto my Facebook page and we'll have a draw, and you can win some DVDs and some books as well. One more video before we go to lunch. Is that video man on the ball there? Just one more video. This is a new DVD that I've just released. It's called Light, and it's about light. So have a look here. If you're a photographer looking to master your lighting skills, then my latest DVD, Light, is the perfect acquisition. During this comprehensive DVD, I will instruct you in the fundamental aspects of lighting, from artificial light to available light, and how to mix the two in various ways. Highlight on the hair, from behind there, and then illuminating the background. So that's a 4-light setup. And what I've done here is I've taken off the front diffuser. I've put in a gold deflector to warm it up. It's a swimwear shoot. I will take you from studio to location with theory and practical implementation of both. Run. Oh, beautiful. Good girl. You've lost all the detail in the shadows. Instead of the lights being at the front like this, the lights were here. It's all based on my lighting masterclass, and you will come away with all the essentials of technical, practical, and artistic lighting to take your photography to the next level. I think that's the one. I think that is the shot. Okay guys, so we're going to break for lunch now. I would just like to give one big thank you to Skin Media for arranging all of this, to Joe and Violetta, and to my new assistant Anka. Thank you so much. We all appreciate the fact that you guys are here to elevate the brand and to elevate photography in general in Bucharest. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Brett. Thank you very much. I thought these 2 hours were really inspirational, even if I'm not a wedding photographer. I will try to speak in Romanian so everybody can understand. Vom lua o mică pauză de aproximativ jumătate de oră, 45 de minute. Pentru cei care ne privesc de acasă, îi așteptăm după această pauză pentru că va continua workshop-ul, se vor prezenta fotografii înscrise pentru workshop și se vor discuta.